So today I'm so excited to be reviewing another foldable phone, and I'm going to be reviewing the Motorola Razr Ultra or the Motorola Razr Plus. It's really different depending on which country you're from, and I'm excited to be bringing a full review of this device because it's a really fun folding phone. So let's get right into the full review. So I was lucky enough to get this phone from T-Mobile, and I actually got the really awesome color. It's a magenta color. It really looks like red, I think, for most people. And this is a folding phone that just has a lot of style. So of course, having that Motorola Razr name there, having something unique with this awesome red color, it's something that's really gonna stand out when you're using this phone. And people are gonna see it and say, dang, like that phone is different, it looks good. And that's what this phone did for me. But not only did it do that, but when I look at this phone and I compare it with something like the Galaxy Z Flip 5, what you're gonna see is that the outer display, it's a little bit nicer on this Motorola Razr. It just looks a little bit better because it goes down all the way to where the cameras are, and it just looks so good whenever you're using it or whenever you're playing some fun games on it. Of course, you could use any app on Motorola's display on that outer display, and Motorola has some awesome tricks up their sleeve. So I said this about the Z Flip 5. A lot of people really underestimate these folding phones and what they can do. And one of the awesome things that really sets this phone apart from a lot of other phones, it's not that it has the best camera, it's that it has the funnest camera. Because if you want to take pictures, for example, of other people, you could show them what's on the cover display and they can see themselves. So if you have a 4-year-old daughter like me, you're going to get some poses. Now, I didn't get a bunch of pictures for this review, sadly, because I accidentally got them deleted, so that's a little unfortunate. But the point is my daughter was posing for all these photos, which is great. But the other thing is Motorola actually has a way that you could have nothing on the outer display, but it will actually show them a smiley face instead. So instead of showing themselves like what they look like, you could have a smiley face pop up. And that's great for children, especially babies who are just looking for something fun that will help them to smile for photos. So whether you want the Motorola smiley face to pop up, or if you just want kids to be able to see themselves in that outer display while you're taking a picture, either way, you're going to get a lot of fun pictures with the Motorola Razr. The Motorola Razr also has other things up its sleeve. It has a tint mode. You don't get that with the Galaxy Z Flip. So with the Z Flip 5, if you put it in a mode like this, where you're holding it like a tint, you actually can't watch like a YouTube video like that, for example. But Motorola does have a cool little tint mode that you could watch videos in. Also, you have the other thing where you could just prop up your phone, of course, and watch videos that way. You could use your phone like a little tripod if you're taking videos. And not only that, but of course, it's a phone that fits in your pocket. When you have a folding phone like this, it does help to keep distractions away, because instead of opening up your phone and scrolling through everything, now you could just look on the outer display. And that really does help a lot of people avoid distractions. Now for me, I end up opening it up eventually anyway, and I get distracted. But for a lot of people, it does really seem to work. So a lot of you out there are just wondering though, when you look at this phone, how good it is. You might just wonder how good it is compared to Samsung's Galaxy Z Flip 5, right? The Z Flip 5 is great, and so is the Motorola Razr, but what are the differences? Well, if you look at this Motorola Razr and the design, you're gonna see it's a little bit larger of a flip phone than the Z Flip. So getting a larger screen might be nice for some of you. Some of you might actually not like it because it's a little bit harder to reach some things, but some of you might want a little bit of a nicer screen. So the Motorola has a 6.9-inch screen. It's 2640 by 1080 for the resolution. So Motorola is unique though because they have a 165 Hz refresh rate. So that means the scrolling on the phone is gonna feel a lot smoother, and a lot of you out there are just gonna like that because it's a really cool thing. It also gets about 1400 nits of peak brightness, so the screen does actually get pretty bright overall. So Motorola does have some nice improvements over the Z Flip 5. I think mainly the fact that you get that higher refresh rate, which is really, really nice. You do get a larger screen, which is nice. And there are some modes and some ways that you use the phone that aren't quite as good on the Z Flip. I think the outer display, for example, is a little bit nicer when you are using it, when you are scrolling through it. It's just gonna pop a little bit more than Samsung's Z Flip outer display. And having the extra real estate when it goes beyond the cameras can be very beneficial as well. And I think apps actually work a little bit better if you are using the full outer display. But there are still some compromises when you compare this phone with the Z Flip 5. For example, example, it does have the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, so the processing speed is going to be a little bit slower than the Z Flip 5. Also, you're going to have to deal with the fact that the battery life isn't going to be quite as good because it won't be quite as efficient, of course, because the processor is not quite as efficient as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. Now, it does have a little bit of a larger battery with 3,800 milliamps, so that's a upgrade from the Z Flip 5. So there are some things that I really like about it over the Z Flip. I think day to day I like the skin more, so some of you Pixel users out there, if you really like Google Pixel phones, I think Motorola's skin on Android is going to be a little more Android-like, of course, than Samsung's One UI software. On the other end, you get a lot of extra features from Samsung software that you might not get with Motorola, so that's a little bit of a preference thing. And for those of you who are thinking about a Z Flip 5 or the Motorola Razr, I think the thing that'll really tip you over the edge to get the Razr, that's really going to be something like the refresh rate. A lot of you like the outer display, for example, and some of you just like how it looks. It's a better fashion statement for some of you. A lot of you are going to like that with the Motorola Razr, and maybe the name will be nostalgic for you, or maybe you'll get it for a little bit of a lower price because I've seen a few more sales on the Razr than I have with the Z Flip 5. So those are some reasons why some people might get the Motorola Razr, but there are some reasons, of course, that the Z Flip 5 is going to be better too. I think it's going to be a little more durable in my opinion in the long run. Also, I will say that it doesn't have water resistance in the Motorola Razr, so that is going to be a little bit of an issue for some people. But when I take the Z Flip 5 out of this equation, because a lot of you are just looking at the Motorola Razr itself, this phone will fly through pretty much anything you'll do, so who cares if it doesn't have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, right? Who cares if there's some minor differences as far as the design or things like that? You might just prefer the way this Razr looks. It's going to fly through pretty much everything. It does have a little bit of a larger battery. You'll still get around 5 hours of screen on time with the battery, and the cameras are really good. I really think it depends on who you are as far as which pictures you'll like between this and the Z Flip 5. The Motorola Razr, I think, takes more pictures that are similar to like the Google Pixel, for example. So the colors are a little more natural. And some of you are going to like the looks. Some of you are going to like the outer cover display, the fact that it's bigger. Some of you are going to like the display having a higher refresh rate. And you're going to like how the display is 6.9 inches. And when you factor all those things in, that might actually make you lean towards the Motorola Razr. Like, the Motorola Razr is a really good phone. So if you're looking at it, maybe you have a great deal with your carrier. Maybe they're offering it for free. Maybe you're just seeing it on sale and you're thinking about it. I have to say, even if you have to deal with some minor inconveniences, it's a really good phone. But it is a flip phone. It's a folding phone. And that means there are some durability concerns long term, of course. If the screen protector goes, you're going to have to find a way to get that replaced. You might have to go through your carrier, you might have to deal with Motorola, you might want to get some insurance just in case with your carrier because you never know, right? So there are some things that you have to consider with this phone that you might not have to consider with a normal phone. So who knows if it's going to last for 1 or 2 years. But from what I'm seeing, Motorola has really worked out a lot of kinks. This phone is going to be more durable than previous generations. I do think they made a lot of improvements to it. So overall, I think this Razr is amazing. I think the design is great. I think it looks great. I think the colors are really awesome. This phone also has more storage in the base model than you get from the Z Flip 5. And it does have 30-watt wired charging, which is nice to see, at least a little bump from other phones that we've seen out there. And it does have 5-watt wireless charging if you need a little bit of that. But the point is, when we look at the overall phone, I think there are pros to this and there are pros to the Z Flip 5. I think for most people, you might want to get the Z Flip 5 because I think it might be a little more reliable in the long run. You're going to get a little more software updates, and they've been working on their design just a little bit longer. But I think Motorola is going to give you a good bang for your buck because you are going to get a better refresh rate. You're going to get a larger screen. You're going to get a better looking phone and a better looking design, in my opinion. And when you look at that, a better screen, a better looking design, a little bit of a bigger battery, for example, and you get a side-mounted fingerprint sensor, by the way, that does work just fine. And as long as you're willing to go a step below a lot of flagships. Again, a lot of flagships are going to have better cameras for the price. They're going to have slightly better performance for the price. And they might have a little bit of better battery life for the price. Spending $1,000 on a phone is a lot. So you're really giving up one notch on each of those things. And in exchange, You're getting a really fun phone that takes fun pictures with your kids, that is really exciting, that fits in your pocket well, and a phone with just an awesome looking design. And you're really just finding the fun in technology again. Like, technology is so fun. A lot of people should embrace that and get this. I think a lot of tech enthusiasts will actually prefer the Motorola Razr over the Z Flip 5. And I wouldn't blame you, because it's a great looking phone. And I would highly recommend it if you're okay with some minor compromises. So hopefully this review has helped you, and it's a little bit of a comparison too. So I hope it's really helped you to make a decision. If you want to help me out, one way is to, of course, subscribe to my channel, but you could also use those affiliate links in the description. That's a great way to support my channel. As you could hear in my content, I don't want to let any biases affect me. I try my best, and that is why I don't always recommend everything to everyone all the time, right? That's why I actually talked about the Z Flip 5. I do comparisons. I want to help my audience, but in exchange, hey, don't be afraid to help me out too. That is, of course, why I do this, to help my family, and I do it because I love it too, because I really do love technology. So thank you for your support, by the way. It's meant so much to me. It means so much to my family. I really hope you have a great day. I really hope you enjoy your week, and I really hope whatever phone you choose, I just hope you enjoy it, and I hope you have a great time.